But you ready for some One Piece, bud?
Let's do it. So we are getting into the final episode of our fight with Kaido. The culmination of like 5 years of One Piece is in front of us, guys. That's wild for anybody who's been watching this from the get go. Like I know some of our listeners have been. So the episode starts off with a little flashback to Kaido's childhood. I just remember when this dropped in the manga, a lot of people were pissed because this is like the least backstory we've gotten on a villain ever.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Oh, by far. Like it's very minimal for One Piece, what we got here. Like we got just as much King backstory as we did fucking Kaido.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing though is Kaido is such a, I don't want to say a one-dimensional character, but compared to Doflamingo and Big Mom, like his entire upbringing has been war. I
Right.
mean, it starts with his flashback at like 10 years old, leading a small army against like a kingdom in the One Piece world. We learn that he gets drafted into the Navy, which doesn't go very well, obviously. And he ends up just being imprisoned because of that. And that's where he
Yeah.
meets our boy King.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was, and I think we have to mention that like it was his home island, pretty much making him, drafting him, quote unquote, selected for the Navy. So he had become a Marine, and they're doing it for political reasons. They just want to become part of the Reavery. They're a very poor country. And they always have to pay the higher kingdoms just for existing, which sucks. So I understand where they were coming from, but they should have known Kaido was just not going to go for that shit.
Definitely. And Kaido, it just shows Whitebeard recruiting Kaido into the Rocks Pirates. Like there's a scene where he's beating up a bunch of pirates on Pirate Island, and I think it's Hachinosu, is what they call it, but just like Pirate Island. And
Hmm.
people are like, I can't believe this is like a 15-year-old. Like this is a child, not a man, and he has got this kind of bounty. But it just goes to show how strong and how much of a freaking one man wrecking ball Kaido actually is.
Yeah, it's nuts because like he's like a teenager, and the Marines, like when they capture him and he escapes again, he does this repeatedly. But it's really whenever he's out at sea and he gets hungry, he just pretty much gets captured. They feed him to keep him alive, and then he just leaves. And they're like getting pissed because they're using them. He's using them as like a cafeteria, as they say. Like, how OP are you that like you just like, you know what? Don't feel like cooking today. I'm gonna get captured. Take a
It's
nap, and then I'll break out.
insane, dude. But it just goes into, I mean, Kaido joins the Rocks Pirates. We learn again, we hear more about God Valley, which we better get a fucking flashback of down the line because a lot of shit went down at God Valley and they haven't got into it yet. So it comes out, this is the fight where Garp becomes the hero of the Marines because he defeated the Rocks Pirates. And then we kind of get to, Kaido's goal is just to create a world of violence to get the celestial dragons to come down and fight, which, I think he's got a point there. Fuck the celestial dragons, dude. They suck.
Yeah, he said, "Screw nobility. Everybody's got to have hands." And I thought that, and the reason I did want to mention that he was going to have to get sold to the Navy. This is kind of his way of fighting back. I'll just create a world of violence, and I think his intention is admirable, but the execution is way off base, right? I think he's looking for a world of more equality, but it's unfortunate that it is based off how strong you are in war. You know what I'm saying? So like he had the right, he had the spirit for execution.
Terrible execution. But we also get a scene which has a lot to do with the lore of One Piece. And Kaido's talking to King. This is, after he's set up his whole Onigashima and done a lot of shit in Wano and all that, and they're getting going on that. He basically says, I know who Joy Boy is. Joy Boy is going to be the person to defeat me. And that's why King thinks Kaido is Joy Boy, because he doesn't think anybody can beat Kaido, which I can't really
Right.
blame him.
I mean, dude's been wrecking country since he's been 10. Um, Yeah, I can't blame him either. But it's kind of ironic that King was waiting for Joy Boy and got clapped by his second in command.
You know, man, if you're Joy Boy, you gotta have a strong crew, right?
I mean, of course. He just ends up on the wrong end of it. It is what it is.
But yeah, back to the present. We see Joseph, one of the CP0 members, escaping Onigashima. He's doing his little what do they call it again? Not skywalking.
It is Skywalk.
It is skywalk? I thought it had a
Yeah,
different name for some reason. Sanji
you might
calls
be.
it something else.
Yeah, Sanji calls it a different thing, but yeah, CP0 calls it Skywalk.
But he's skywalking away from the island, flying through the sky. Smart man getting out of there. Shit's about to go down. I think he kind of figured that one out.
Yes, I was also thinking maybe those marine ships and the world government is pulling up because I mean he's got to have a place to escape to. He's probably relaying intel about what's happening.
Oh yeah, he's had a direct
So that's
line.
yeah. So something to keep your eye on. I think I'm working that angle right now in my mind.
Definitely. We see Zoe's water continue to flood Onigashima to put the fires out. Seeing everybody get swept away by Jinbei's strong arms, throwing this water around like it's freaking nothing.
Hey, it's Jimbei,
And
baby.
we just get back to big ass fist in the sky. Luffy and Kaido going at it with the final blow, telling Momo, "Get this fucking island out of the way. I'm coming down." And we in this episode we finally see Momo find his resolve. And after barely being able to make any flame clouds at all, homie shoots out a whole ring of it, starts pulling Onigashima out of the way. And it's just good to see Momo have his moment, his Momo moment.
You know, like they didn't really have to do him like this for the last couple of years and have him cry every third episode, but it was a big moment. Uh, I don't respect Momo any more than I did yesterday, the day before, or last month, but it's good to see. And like he did it just in time, like you knew they were gonna do. Onigashima starts falling, and he's like, "Okay, now I can do it." Don't. I'm happy, but also still disappointed in him for being a little bitch.
Definitely. But yeah, so Luffy and Kaido are still going at it. I mean, this is, I don't want to say like the most anticlimactic big attack because there's so much meaning behind it, but like they've ended fights in better ways than One Piece.
I mean, Thriller Bark was way better as far as the ending. I think um,
That hurts to hear.
mo- it was a great team effort. It just hit harder. It hit way harder than this. I think you're right about it being anticlimactic. It was you expect so much more out of this moment because it's been so long. I think just the raid has been what 2 years
At
or
least, yeah.
something. Yeah, I mean at least 2 years. I think the raid. Yeah, I think it's closer to 3. So, like, you expect so much, and, like, it's hard to live up. I understand it's hard to, like, live up, to that time and what you expect, maybe some unreasonable expectations, but definitely wanted a little bit more than what we got,
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. And like we're not trying to like downplay this at all, but it's just really hard to talk for 15 minutes about One Punch.
And it's like, all the fights end in a big fucking punch, but this punch was in the air for what, 3 episodes?
At least two.
At least 2? Was it just 2? It
At
feels like
least
it's been
two.
floating up there for a while.
I think it was the end of the 3 episodes ago.
Okay, okay, alright. But yeah, it did feel a little anticlimactic, but we got some great moments out of this fight, obviously. Like, this is the overall fight, not the ending, but the overall fight, top tier shit, man.
Oh, definitely. It was probably the best, visually, the best fight in One Piece.
Hey, there we go.
I mean,
I'm
incredible.
putting it only second to, King Zoro. I thought that one I personally like that one a lot better, but this was it's like 1A and 1B, you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah,
1 and 1A.
I think I overall like Kaido versus Luffy more just because there's so much more substance to it. And when we can sit down and watch it uninterrupted, I think
Oh,
it's gonna hit so much harder.
oh, I agree. I was just talking about purely visual. As far as like hearing the drums of liberation, all that. Okay, the impact of Gear 5, yeah,
I just got a
can't
soft
touch
spot
it.
for Luffy bouncing around on lightning
That shit was sick as
like a
fuck.
maniac, dude.
Yeah, yeah, that it was cold. It was cold.
But we also get a really awesome interaction with during this fight where basically Kaido says what he is fighting for, and it's, war and everything else. And Luffy comes in and says, I'm fighting. So, and we get a nice flashback to Tama. And it's basically, I'm fighting so my friends can eat. And it's Luffy. It's all coming down to food, man. What do you expect?
my my sister was laying down on the couch while I was watching this, and she was like, "Seriously, that's his goal?" I was like, "That's not really what he means, but yeah, in this specific case, yes, he wants everybody to eat Rigged."
Wants to eat good.
Yes,
You just got
yes.
to go show her the episode beforehand where they had the really sad flashback that made Tyler cry. Like, this is
Yes.
why. This is
Yeah, I
why.
mean, it's so sad, and I was like trying to tell her that I was like, this arc has been going on for maybe 4 or 5 years. I think it was like 4 and a quarter years or so, 3 and 3/4 years. Just this, and she was like, and this is all that's happened. I was like, you just don't understand. This is peak. This is
You
it
don't
right here.
understand.
But I've been trying to convince her to watch One Piece. She did like the live action though.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, she actually really liked it. So maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. But so Luffy's punch breaks through the flame dragon torch, and you just see little old Kaido inside of this giant. I'm saying little old Kaido, which sounds hilarious to think about. But compared to the scope of this dragon, Kaido is much smaller, the flame dragon. And you see the fist come burst through the flame dragon and punch Kaido straight down into hell. Fucking awesome.
Um, I'm gonna get to the ending part in a second, but that flame dragon torch, who was that for? Why is it so big? Like, goddamn. It's like what would you probably say, like 20 times the size of his body, but we know how Oda is with sizes. But who is that for? That's what I was thinking. It only works in this fight, but I digress.
I don't know, man. How satisfying would it have been to see that giant fucking dragon just burning down Marie Joie, taking down
That'd
the
be pretty
celestial
dope.
dragons? That's what it was
It
for.
it might have been for them. It might
That's
have
what it
been for
was
them.
for.
Yes, but it was really satisfying to finally see Kaido lose,
Oh,
and
definitely.
we get that shot of like Luffy looking down on Kaido, like smiling, and then you have the Scott boats coming up in the background behind him. One that
That's a fucking
specifically
wall.
says,
I was gonna say that's a
um,
wallpaper.
"Yeah, oh, dude, it was wonderful, wonderful." And then there was one specific skyboat that said, "Beat that scary big dragon." So he's granting wishes. Our boy Luffy's granting wishes like he always does, and that was a really cool scene. I thought
Oh,
seeing the flower
definitely.
capital, and then I think what's also really important for like the ending of big One Piece fights when Luffy defeats the big baddie is that everybody gets to see it happen. It's important. So we everybody on Onigashima they're seeing it through a hole in the ceiling, and they're like all cheering him on, telling him he can't lose, and really cool moment.
Definitely,
Really, really
man.
cool moment.
Definitely. I'm just really excited for the next arc. You don't even know, dude. I would have turned it up to 11.
There's more?
There's a lot
Jeez.
more.
Okay. Okay. So I'm hyped. I'm always hyped for
Oh,
One
yeah.
Piece, but yeah, this was I think this is a good ending to Kaido overall. Like we said, the punch was a little anticlimactic, but the overall episode I thought was really good.
Oh, definitely. And the funniest thing is like maybe a year or two into Wano, Oda literally came out and said Luffy will not defeat Kaido with a big punch.
It was a massive punch.
He wasn't wrong. It was a really big punch, but it was a big punch nonetheless.
I love that. I love that. But
Definitely.
Kaido was never wrong. He was very right in telling King the person that would defeat him is Joy Boy. Look at the foresight on this guy.
Smart man. Well, beast. Oni. Whatever we're going to call him. But Austin, anything else for One Piece?
That's it for me, man. This is a really great episode. Finally, I'm glad we finally wrapped this whole Kaido situation up for the most part.
Definitely. And like we were saying, you know, it's like this episode was just, there was a lot of visuals and a lot of really impactful moments, but like we just can't put the words to justice to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean it didn't seem like a lot happened, but with all like the small flashbacks and everything, it still made it impactful. Even though we were ragging on it a little bit, we still thought
Ah,
we still thought it was very very good.
yeah, it was a really good episode. Just you see the big fist for 3 episodes, you're like, all right, let's bring it. Let's bring the hammer down.
I don't think he's gonna whiff on this one.
Well, awesome guys. Really appreciate you listening to this week's weekly rundown.